Major economic developments today, and I will bring you the updates. The first thing I want to look at is the consumer struggle. We are seeing what's happening with consumers, their debt, and how that corresponds to the stimulus. The second thing I want to look at is the empty store shelves. This is a problem that many will face, and I want to bring this to you, unpack it, and expand upon that. The third thing is India and China, the power struggles today that they are dealing with, and how this will impact the whole world. I've got all of that and more. Let's begin. Let's start with the consumer sentiment. It has remained for the past 3 months at the lows first recorded in response to last year's shutdown of the economy. The supply chain, you got shortages, reduced labor force participation rates will continue to dim the pace of consumer spending into 2022. If you look at what had happened from 2020 into 2021, whenever you saw really good economic numbers, it was directly corresponding to stimulus of some kind. If they were giving out the checks, what happened? People went out, they went to spend this. And of course, that correlated with people's savings. So you would see a spike up in the savings during these periods of time because people put their money into the bank account and so on. All of this shown in the chart here just highlights the fact that this can't continue forever. You're seeing the consumer sentiment, that's the blue line, and it basically, other than this up and down we're seeing right now over the past couple of months, it's at the levels we haven't seen since 2011. This shows you the struggle that consumers are dealing with right now. Take a look at the prices. We are seeing inflation, price inflation, September 2020 to 2021, and of course all the same things that we've talked about, your bacon and beef and your gasoline, your dresses, apparently hotels, used cars, all of this. You've seen the prices rising. Your inflation rate is not determined by the U3, or I should say the inflation rate that the government uses, or maybe some, the indicator that you see on the internet. It's dependent on what you personally purchase. If you don't have children in school and you don't go to school, you are not going to see the price increases on tuition, for instance, or the textbooks, or all these things. If you don't eat the animal products, you're not going to see the inflation on the animal products, and so on. But the point is, things are much more expensive. And this was going on a long time ago. The devaluation of the currencies has been a factor for a very long time. Now, part of what's happening today is, you can see it, ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, cargo and tanker. This information comes from marine traffic. I've told you about this resource before, and you can just see what's going on. There is a serious problem going on at the coast, but not just in this one area. It seems to be everywhere. All different types of transportation have been dealing with supply chain problems, bottlenecks, anything you can think of. They've been dealing with that, as you have seen. And that leads me to this. I'm going to show you some examples here. My grocery. There's plenty of food. It's not as if we will starve, but I've never seen empty shelves like this in my lifetime. That's right now. This is one particular individual posting this one thing. Look at this. No toilet paper again. Go down. Looking at this. This is CVS. Here's another one. Empty shelves. Empty shelves. Empty, okay? There's stuff there. But usually, grocery stores, they like to keep them full. They make them as full as possible. It's very, very seldom that you will see empty shelves in a place. And why? That's bad retail, number one. You don't want to keep a shelf empty because that's a product that could be sold. Okay, so that is just retail 101. There might be a corner in which, products are not there. But anyway, the point is, you're seeing this all over the place. Why? Because that's supposed to have a product in there. They're expecting the product in there. Hasn't got there. Or maybe people are buying it. Regardless, you as the individual, if you don't see it on that shelf, you can't buy it. Look at this. Alabama school district warns of food shortages. Asks for parent help after deliveries fail. So for one reason or another, there could be serious problems for the food supply. This is the most important thing. This is why I tell people, get prepared today. Not tomorrow, not next year, not if things get crazy, then I'll do it. Things are already crazy. We just have to take our heads out of the sand and look at the information. It's just showing you, more information about it if you are interested. As always, I'll leave the links in the description. But what do you think about this? Do you think that we will see disruptions in the food supply? Major disruptions? Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know what you think about this. We have to keep this dialogue going. Flooding in West China destroys agricultural production. On top of everything else, we are seeing, situations going on with the weather that are affecting everything from United States all the way across into China. Continuous rainfall for more than 10 days has caused lower reaches of the Luo River in China's west to spill their banks. Large volumes of floodwater released from upstream have destroyed 2 dams in one county, and villages are flooded. They're just going on to the details. If you've got floods, you got problems with the supply. It's a simple matter of fact. How long it persists will determine the extent of the damage. Wild weather sparks ship backlog from Shenzhen to Singapore. 67 ships are waiting off Hong Kong, 22% more congested than usual. I think there's a chart in here, yes. So it shows you piling up. Key container ports are seeing increased congestion in Asia. Look at it. Shanghai Ningbo, total ships 255, waiting ships 61. They just go through all of these. Okay, if you're interested, details are there. And there's this image as well. Okay, storm empties out container ports in Hong Kong, and Shenzhen creates congestion in Singapore. So down here, if you can see that is Singapore. Okay, major congestion going on. And then Hong Kong, Shenzhen is right here. Just seeing a lot of this right now at this time. And I believe that this is concerning for so many different reasons. Maersk diverts ships from busy UK ports short on truckers. I want to see a resolution in some way. There has to be some creativity here. Move this, figure it out. Figure it out. I'm not an expert in this field, but I know that something can be done. Whether it's more, it's going to cost more, or whether it's going to take some effort by the part of different groups. Make it happen. If you agree with me that we need some change right now, fast, hit that thumbs up button. Do that. Let me know. Okay. And the last one, until we get into Money GPS Insights, aluminum makers sound the alarm about U.S. magnesium shortages. The largest U.S. billet producer warns of production curtailments. Alcoa is seeing some force majeure from magnesium suppliers. This is not a good sign when we start to see the supply chain breaking down at this level gear, and the core materials are going to become hard to come by, and they're going to be in shortage. They're going to be more expensive. I mean, this is not a good sign for what's to come over the next few months, because that inflation rate is not going to go down. Let's talk about it in the Money GPS Insights. Inflation is everywhere today as more money is needed for the basic essentials. The biggest worry today is food availability as well as the cost. Buy at today's prices to lock in the cost as well as to secure your position. This is so important. If you only take one thing from this video, take that. So let's talk about India and China. India is suffering its worst power shortage in October since March 2016 due to a crippling coal shortage. Power supply fell. They talk about a deficit right now. This is not a good sign, because I was saying, watch India, watch what happens. And this is something that is just piling up on top of everything else. They get into it a little bit more here. Coal India temporarily stopped supplies to non-power customers. For those who don't follow the coal sector closely, Coal India calls itself the world's largest coal miner and digs 80% of all coal in India. Beyond coal supplying coal-fired power plants, it serves the non-power customers like steel, cement, and other big industrial operations. And they just cut that off temporarily. We will see what happens. This is going to have an impact if it persists. I will keep you up to date. Then we have China. China coal prices hit a record high. Early winter chill adds energy woes. Not good. There's so many things are just adding up. China's power rationing map. You could see this. This has been updated. Well, it's as of September 27th. You've seen it before, but essentially just trying to show you the different areas and what they are dealing with. Okay. I would, stress everybody to always understand that this is so important. Your power, your food supply, and everything could disappear in an instant. We take it for granted, really. Quick update on Evergrande. Evergrande is not the only one struggling. Okay, over the last few days, a slew of other developers have disclosed their own cash flow issues, asking lenders for more time to repay them or warning of potential defaults. Unbelievable, okay? 12 Chinese firms, look at this. Let me get the highlighter out. 12 Chinese firms, real estate firms, defaulted on their bond payments totaling about $3 billion. So this is not a huge number, but it's still $3 billion of defaults. This accounted for near 20% of the total corporate bond defaults in the first 6 months of the year, the highest across all sectors. China breaks silence on Evergrande, says the risks are controllable. Central bank wants developers to fulfill debt obligations. Hey, you better do that. Urges banks to maintain stable credit to the real estate sector. So let's keep it flowing. Let's keep everything moving, and we'll take care of this. I thought it was pretty funny to see that, but you let me know what you think. LME zinc, you're just seeing this particular measure of zinc. It is going up to levels we haven't seen since, looks like 2007. Okay? Right now, just think about it. Not particularly with zinc, but if you go back and look at 2 years ago, compare what we saw, that boom in commodities leading up to 2008. There are so many books and articles and things written about how ridiculous the prices were. Oh, I couldn't believe seeing that. What a bubble that was. Now we're going higher than this in many respects. It's just unbelievable. Turkey farmers say shortage of workers will delay production. What else is new? And an interesting one to finish off today. People are taking out loans against their NFTs and defaulting. What? What is going on here? The world is topsy-turvy, no doubt. What do you think about this as well? As always, with all of my articles, every chart, everything is in the description under the sources if you want to check it out. I think it's wacky. I think it's crazy. But that's it. I'm going to end it there. Are you an insider? No. If not, you got to be. It's free. Check it out at this card or at themoneygps.com. And once again, to support the channel, it's pretty easy. Just hit that thumbs up. It's right down there. Click it on the way out. And if you haven't seen this video yet, you definitely want to check it out. Click it, and I'll see you there.